Alina.
I'm Dan.
And for those of you who don't know, we make videos about hiking and backpacking and traveling in our car and hopefully in the future a van. Today we're going to talk about general hiking safety tips, specifically for beginners, so people who haven't really hiked very much or haven't backpacked very much and are just trying to get into it.
Yeah. So just gonna start right off for general safety tips for hiking. One of the biggest things is make sure you have some type of map, especially if you're somewhere with a lot of different trails that crisscross and there's intersections with different trails, because I know we hike in the Adirondacks a lot and there's so many trails that overlap that if you make a wrong turn you could get lost and end up hiking tons and tons of miles that you weren't expecting, or end up trying to hike at night, which is really bad if you're not planning to do it.
So one of our tips for maps is that you want to take a picture of the map that they have at the trailhead on your phone. This is a good idea just for accessibility, but you want to make sure that you also have a paper map, just because your phone isn't something that is really reliable, especially if it gets really cold. It's going to die. You can bring a charging pack, but just don't rely on the fact that your phone is always going to work. So also in that kind of same category, bringing a compass is a good idea. I know we don't always do that, but it's smart to just have one, especially when you get onto longer trips. Something that's not necessarily marked very well is really helpful to have. The third thing that we have is just kind of a tip before you go actually hiking. You're at the trailhead and you've got everything together. Checking the elevation of the trail that you're on, because elevation makes a big difference. If you're hiking 6 miles with 100 feet of elevation, that's going to be a lot easier than 1,000 feet of elevation gain. So just check that out and make sure that you know what you're getting into. Same thing with the miles of the trail. Make sure that it's within your capabilities and the weather. The weather's going to change a lot between the bottom of the trail and the summit. If it's a mountain, it might not change very much if there's not a ton of elevation change, but you just want to make sure that you're prepared for that.
Also, going off of the weather thing, where you are, if it's close to where you live, you probably know about what to expect. But if you were on, say, a trip, like when we were in Colorado, we were in southern Colorado at Mesa Verde, and we're like, oh, it's a 7-mile hike, we've done that before, it's not too bad, it's only 600 feet of elevation, which might sound like a lot, but we hike a lot, so it wasn't that bad. But there was no shade at all on the trail, and because it was towards the beginning of our trip, we hadn't hiked very much, especially in the sun, and it killed us. Those 6 miles were so difficult. And just make sure you know how the elements affect how you hike and what you have to prepare for.
Kind of similarly to that, depending on where you are, there's going to be different obstacles on the trail. So things like snakes or bears or rabbits or something can be on the trail. And a lot of time people just hike and you're just going straight, you're not really looking at the ground very much. Just make sure that you know that, especially in the south, there's going to be snakes. Stepping on them might get you hurt, so don't do that. And wearing something like headphones might keep you less aware of what you're hiking on. I know it can be really helpful, especially if you're going up a steep incline, just trying to get motivated, but try to make sure that you know that you're aware of where you're going.
Yeah, that goes for not only animals, but rocks or sand. I know that we struggled when we were hiking sometimes with sand because it's just so loose and you don't exactly know how far it's going to give before you have a footing. Yeah, so going back to more what you need, make sure you have enough food, water. If you're going on a longer hike, a water filter helps if there's a water source along the trail. There's just make sure you're prepared for how long you're going to go. If you're going on a half-mile trail, you're probably not going to really need anything. But if you're hiking a mountain, 15-mile day hike, you're going to want a lot of food and water, a lot more than you think, because you're going to be burning so many calories.
And I always kind of suggest to take just a little bit more food than you think you're going to need. We recently went on a hike, we ended up getting kind of sort of lost and went double the miles that we thought we were going to, so we ended up needing a lot more food than we thought we were going to. And then you're kind of just stuck hoping that you can get back before something happens, which isn't really a good position to be in. So just bring something that's still light but calorie dense, like Cliff Bars or something like that. Especially when you start out and you're not really sure what you want. make sure you bring like something salty, something sweet, stuff like that. Just because you need a lot of food to like not die, basically. I guess the next thing, which is kind of related to food, is don't overpack. So this goes for both like day hikes and overnight hikes, but you want to have enough food and you want to have enough like gear, but you don't want to overpack. And so the people who think that they need like, you know, a gigantic camera for their hike, I would kind of suggest not bringing that, or not bringing like too many water bottles, or, you know, way too much food, because you don't, like, it's gonna be really difficult to hike up a mountain or something like that, especially when you're not very experienced, if you have a ton of weight on you. So just keep that in mind. You kind of want to just, maybe, you know, once you pack your backpack, just walk around your living room, around your lawn or something, and just see how it feels, because you don't want to be hiking up a mountain and have your shoulders hurt or something like that.
Yeah, so with overpacking, like, you're going to want some sort of a med kit. If you're going on a day hike, you want probably just a small med kit. Let's say you trip, you cut your knee open. Even if it's just a scratch, a band-aid can't really hurt, just to help keep the dirt out while you're on your hike. If you're on a longer hike, you might want to bring a little bit more extensive med kit type, but you're not really going to need that much, because if it's anything too severe, you're going to want to call for help and just get someone to help you, because carrying all that weight is also going to make it more likely that you're probably going to fall and get hurt. So you have to try to balance what you need and what's practical.
Yeah, and like, I mean, we were in the Grand Canyon and I fell and I was alone, just because I was hiking behind him, and I didn't realize that like something cut me, and it did, so I just like pulled up my little med kit. It was probably like 10 ounces at most, like it's probably a lot lighter than that, but I'm overestimating, and that wasn't really that much weight for just a day hike, and it helped me just not bleed all over the place when I was hiking up. So things like that are fine to take, just make sure you're not bringing like the full-size med kit, because you really don't need that regardless of where you're hiking. Okay guys, that was about it, and thanks for watching, and if you like this video, click the little subscribe button thing, or like it, whatever you want to do. And yeah, I guess the other thing is we recently wrote a book. It's a little ebook. It's going to be under $10 on Amazon, and it's basically like, it'll work on Kindle and stuff too, but it's basically just going to be a PDF, so anyone can really buy it. And it's all about our road trip this summer, and just kind of like how we planned it and how we learned how to, you know, find campsites, what we ate, where we hiked, a bunch of suggestions about like where to go in specific cities and where to go when you're hiking. So just lots of ideas, and for anyone who like buys the book, of course, if you have any extra like questions, email us,
comments,
send us a DM or something, we'll answer them.
Yep.
And I guess it goes for like anyone who's watching. If you have a question or any comments or any like extra tips for beginners, put them down in the little comments.
Also down below.
I like doing this. This is fun. I always watch people do this and I'm like, I really want to do this. Sorry. Okay. That's about it. Thanks for watching.
Thank
and
you.
Yeah, we'll be making another video hopefully soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon. We'll get another one out there.
And if you have any suggestions for new videos, let us know.
Thanks. Bye.
Are you kidding me?
What?
You weren't recording.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
I hit the record button.
No, you didn't. You still have 19 minutes and 51 seconds left.
What?